Okay, so today we're going to do the digger, the roller, right? So basically we are doing circles again, so we have two circles at the back for the wheel, but we also have a third arch, basically, or arc, basically, for the arch, the wheel arch, and we have our front roller, which is a full circle, and then obviously all the geometry to go around it, and also we have a quarter circle here, which is sort of new to us, and we'll have a look at how to do that. So we're going to start off, first we're going to draw a light line across our page, and we're going to start from this corner here, and we're going to start to create in the various surfaces. So if we look, we have a measurement 35 across. We'll draw a line up, and this basically here is going to be the center point for our back wheels. So we're then going to come across 80 and draw all our circles at once, and then the distance of 35 then is basically for the front bumper. So we'll mark that in while we're here, and that's the sub. So we're going to draw our circles. So I'll do them in a blue. So we'll start off with our radius 25, 25, and then we'll do our 20 and our 10. Now, what we're going to do is basically we're going to mark it this way. So we're going to mark out our 10, we're going to mark out our 20, and we're going to mark out our 25. So we have 3 points basically for doing our various circles on this side, and at the same time we're going to mark out our 30 here. And sometimes that's an easier way than setting the compass from the bottom, or on the set square from the bottom, from the underside of the set. So this might be a slightly easier way of doing it. So we're going to check our points are level. Now I'm using a blue pencil just so that you can see it. The wheel arch you can do fully heavy, and the wheels actually can be fully heavy. There's nothing the roller we can't. Okay, so we'll draw our wheel arch here. So that's a semicircle, so we'll only draw it as a semicircle. We'll then take our radius 20 for the outside of the wheel. Okay, and then we'll go to our 10. Now the trick for the 10 mil, and if you look here, my compass point and my pencil or your lead need to be level. Okay, so I'm going to move that up. So I'll use my set square check for level. This needs to come down a tiny bit. 24. Okay, so that looks good. So if we do that, then we should have a good chance of being able to draw a 10 mil height. Okay, so it's not too bad. Okay, so now we're going to come over here and we're going to draw our 30 millimeter radius roller. Now again, when you're drawing this, oh no, hold on a second. This is actually up a few mil, because if this is our ground, this should be up above it. So if we look here, if this is our ground, if you imagine that the roller at the front should be level with the wheel. So if the radius is 30, what we'll actually have to do is measure up 30 here and put a center mark on it. Okay, so from the question you'll also see that that's in line with that. Okay, so pretty much the same point. Mine's a tiny bit off just because of the thickness of the pencils, and we can see that here. So if we look there, the center point of this is level with that, and that would make our wheels and our rollers the same length. But I'll use this just for my distance. Okay, so radius 30. Okay, so they're fairly light, and I'll probably come back and heavy them in afterwards. And again, we have the front for a bumper here. So we're going to start on the side, and we're going to start to do various creating. So if we look here, we have a measurement up 40. Okay, and measurement up another 10. So 40 and 10 is 50, and 35 is 85. So I can draw these lightly across. And again, because we're creating, there's no harm in going further than we need to. We'll come back with heavy in what we need at the end. Our wheel comes up level here for the back of the cab, and we have a distance of 40 here then for the front or the top edge of our cab, and that joins down to this center point here. So just make that a little bit bigger so that can be seen. So I'll join that. So we're not given an angle as such. Initially when I looked at it, I thought it was 60 degrees, but it's not. And the last thing, sorry, we haven't put in here is our radius 40 mark for this. So what I'll do is I'll mark my 40 distance here, And again, I'm going to draw it lightly because I'm not sure exactly where it hits yet. Okay, so that's basically my arc for the arch behind the rotor. So if we look, we can see that there's a line then coming over from the top of the wheel, this point here, which gives us the top of my rotor. So I'll join it the whole way across, and the bottom of the wheel gives us this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start heavying in some detail so that I can see that it stands out. So we'll start from this side here. Okay, so the key here is just to make sure that you're using the right points. And take each part of the cab. And there's a line here for the window. This comes down until it hits the arch, or the arc, the wheel arch, the arc that we constructed. This then will come across here because it's level with the wheel until it brings you the front bumper basically. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to re-put my black pencil in to my compass, and I'm just going to heavy in the correct detail, so hopefully we can see it a little bit better. Oh, so this is actually solid across, it's the wheel or the rotor at the front that gets in the way of it. Okay, so that looks good. So we'll do our arc here. So that looks good. We'll heavy in the top of our rotor here. That looks pretty good. Okay, so mine may not be perfectly accurate, the reason being the thickness of the pencil that I'm using. Hopefully yours will be a bit heavier. What I ideally would have done would have been, it's just I'm just going over these in black, but at the time I was drawing these in the first place, the wheels on this side, I would have heavied them in as heavy as I could if I was using my normal compass. And the reason for that is it saves me going back over and having double circles on top of each other. But just so that it stands out for the video, so that you can see it, I'm just going back over them here now. Now what's happened here, and this is one of the other reasons, is my compass hole has got too big. So if we zoom in on that there a little bit, you can see from me putting in my compass in it continuously that the hole has got bigger than it should be. So as a result, my compass moves around and I don't get perfect circles. So again, that's another reason as to why you might start that. So that looks good. We have pretty much most. The last thing, the only thing that we don't have is basically our spout for our exhaust fumes at the back. So we know this comes up 25, and if we look carefully, we can see that it's level with the wheel at the back. So we'll take our pink pencil and we'll lightly construct it. Once it comes out, that's where the 25 measurement is from. And again, I can take my black pencil. And I can mark that in. Now, there seems to be a little bit of a unusual mark here to show this. This is radius 10, although it's, I suppose this was just put on extra just so that you could see what radius it was and to keep the dimensions the same. So basically what that means is that distance there is going to be 10, because that must be our center point, and that distance there must be 10. That must be my center point. So what I'll do is I'll measure out 10, and I'll draw a crosshairs there. Now, I could measure exactly up 10, but I don't need to, because my aim is just to make sure that that lines up. So I'm going to go back to my typical compass that I use. As I said, I'm going to try to draw it heavy in one swoop. Okay, so there's my spout, and that's basically my question finished. So what I could do then is a little bit of shading. So again, I'm going to do this very, very quickly here, just so that it stands out for the video. So there's basically my rollers, right? We have my wheel here. Okay, we have my yellow cab, which again, so you'd spend a lot more time, you'd use your set square to make sure that when you're shading you don't go past the line if you need to. Okay, and this would all be yellow here out as far as the bumper. And then maybe a blue. Typically blue would be the colour that we'd use for glass. So a light blue here to give some little bit of shading to show that it's glass. So again, that's a very quick shade, but with a bit more time you'd be able to do it to a lot more detail.